Recently, the adventure log on Rollscape received a really major update. And the reason for that update was the adventure log's purpose is to help you record and then later go back and see what happens during game sessions. And if it's not helping you do that, then it's not doing its job. And so we looked at what people were really using with the adventure log and what wasn't working for people and kind of reshaped things around that. So now if you go to the adventure log, you'll see the same list of entries as before, although they're now listed from most recent to least recent. If you click to create a new game session, it immediately takes you into the preparation area where you can change the title to something interesting. You can give it a short description if you want. This is up to you. And then from there, it's really new, right? There used to be a lot more UX here, and it's really been slimmed down. Now we have, where does the session start? And if you forget what this does, you can just mouse over the little eye. It tells you that this is where you can put Tome of Lore entries that are active at the start of the game session. So let's add a location. Sure. And let's add an NPC. Why don't we, while we're in here? This does support the search, so you can come in here and do your regular search and all of that, and that's great. And it's using this pop-up, which is a little bit more convenient, we found, and works better on mobile as well. And then down below we have handouts, and you can add handouts. Now you notice I didn't add any handouts yet to this session. Now what happens is all the handouts from previous sessions that are still in the game are shown here. If you want to get rid of one, you can just delete it. And the little eye icon next to it controls whether it's visible to the players or not. So right now, these top two are visible and these bottom ones aren't. And you can just turn them on and off really easily. When you're ready, you can just hit ready to play immediately. So this is, again, way faster to get in. And now it starts to look a little bit familiar. Although we have the current entries up here and we have the handouts over here. So we can take a look and go, okay, I'm going to, these are the ones I'm going to select. And we'll see why we select those just now, because I'm going to make a NPC interaction. Now, the first thing you'll notice is that instead of being hidden away, the timeline is shown directly. And as we add items, they'll just keep flowing down. So there's no more show, entire timeline. That's all gone. Now just a nice, clean timeline that's shown down below. You also notice that it automatically filled in the who and the where. There's a few interesting things there. First of all, there's a where. So now when I create let's create a travel. You'll notice it also picked the where. And where's it getting that from? Well, it's getting it from up here in the current entries. So if I had a different location here, Iden, for instance, and if I make that one active, and I hit travel, it's going to put me in Iden. Now, of course, I can still change it down here to whatever I want, including creating a new entry. And now if I click, say, Frith, it adds it to the current entries and makes it active. Because this kind of implies that that's where we are now. We're interested in Frith. The rest of it works pretty much the same. You add the days. Now, if I scroll down, I can see there's my timeline. This is the same thing that the players are now seeing, at least the timeline bit. They'll also be seeing the handouts, but only the two that they can see, and the rest will be hidden from them as it was before. None of the action board, that's just for timeline editors, and not the current entries, because that's just for timeline editors as well, which means the player sees a very straightforward, simple view of just, here's the timeline and what's going on. Of course, they see all of your updates and changes immediately as you make them. This also makes a few things easier. You can just go in and move things around really easily now, because it's right there. You can also delete items right from here. You don't have to click around anymore. If I want to edit one of them, I just click on it and I can now edit that one. This makes it super easy to get through. So going back in my NPC entry here, it filled in automatically the who and the where. And if I click off of it, we'll see that it now says that it was an event with Peleus, which is, of course, as you can see, the little pop-up shows a preview entry of it at Lake Karas. And again, there's another little, if I hover over it, a preview pop-up. And these also occur in the notes as well. So this really streamlines things. And then when we're done, we do the same thing. We've always done. We can come in here and go, session is done. And we get shown the handouts up above, if there were any for that session that are visible. And then also the timeline entries. And again, if I'm an editor, I can just click on them, any one of them I want. And when I'm done, I just click off to edit. So this is, again, a lot easier, a lot more streamlined. And of course, if you're a player, you're not an editor, you don't see they click on entries to edit them, and clicking on them doesn't do anything for them. So this has all been really streamlined. We've kept the nice things like being able to bounce previous next between sessions. We've also kept the number of days elapsed in a session, etc. So what we've done is we've just really streamlined to the most important parts, which we found was the timeline and handouts, and everything else we're not really all that interested in. So we hope you enjoy it. We're really looking for feedback. If you have any, we'd be welcome to hear it and of course respond. I mean, that's what motivated this set of changes, was listening to what was working for you as users of Rollscape. We have a lot more coming in the next weeks, so hopefully you'll see a new video in short order as well. Until then, happy role playing.